Hi everybody, a very good evening to all of you and I welcome you another episode of Chat with K. आज हम बात करेंगे एक यंग ऑथर से जो कि एक MBBS स्टूडेंट हैं और जिन्होंने ऑलरेडी 3 किताबें लिख ली हैं विच इज़ अमेजिंग. सो ये तो बहुत अच्छी बात तो है ही कि उन्होंने 3 किताबें लिख ली हैं while she is still studying, while she is still pursuing her education. पर उससे भी ज़्यादा खास बात पता है क्या है कि इतनी यंग एज में शी हैड अ विजन, शी हैड अ विजन, शी हैड एन एस्पिरेशन, शी हैड अ ड्रीम एंड शी फुलफिल्ड इट. और इसीलिए मैं बहुत ही ज़्यादा गर्व महसूस करती हूँ इस बात में कि आज की हमारी जो जनरेशन है वो किताबों की और लिटरेचर की अहमियत समझती है और उनकी भी कुछ एस्पिरेशंस हैं जो वो पूरी करती हैं. उनकी डायरेक्शन जो है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा जैसे कहते हैं कि स्ट्रेट है, कि उन्हें पता है कि उन्हें किस रास्ते पर चलना है, उन्हें पता है कि उन्हें अपनी ज़िंदगी में क्या करना है. तो इसी के साथ, इसी खुशी के साथ और इसी गर्व के साथ मैं स्वागत करना चाहूँगी अक्षिता शर्मा का. तो एक काम करते हैं, जल्दी से उन्हें ऐड करते हैं. ध्रुव, हाय, हाउ आर यू? हाय ध्रुव, आई एम गुड, हाउ आर यू?
Hi, hi Kritika. I'm fine.
Hi,
How are you?
how are you? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. First of all, I am so happy and glad to have you on my show, on my chat with Kay. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I am very excited for today's conversation, and I'm really thrilled to know your journey and how you actually decided to become an author while you are doing your MBBS. And I know it's not easy because I have a background in medical. So my mom comes from a medical background. So I know how difficult it is. Yeah.
It is difficult, but
yeah. You were saying something.
no.
Okay, so Akshita, it's such a pleasure to have you here. And as I was telling everybody, it gives me an immense pleasure to actually, when I think about this, that you are someone who is very young and who has a long way to go, and you still know what you want in life. You still know where you want to go, and you have that vision, you have that direction, and it gives me an immense satisfaction being someone who loves literature and loves book. So I am very excited for today's journey and today's interaction with you. So to start with, I would really like to tell all of us that you are pursuing MBBS, which is not an easy task. It is a very lengthy process. It takes a huge amount of time, to study and to give exams and also to complete that kind of education. And at the same time, you decide to become an author, which is also a time-consuming process. It's not easy कि आप सुबह रात को सोचा कि आज कल तो मेरे को author बनना और आप सुबह उठ के book publish कर ली. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. It takes a huge amount of dedication, huge amount of passion, and patience and willingness to do something, to write a book, to hold a pen in your hand. So I want to know this from you. कि वो idea कहाँ से आया and how did you do that?
Okay. I would always write. There would always be opportunities for me to write, for me to express. But during my preparation for entering MBBS or entering this field, I had to stop writing. I had to, give a break. And then again, when I came to college, I found opportunities to write again. No, it's not that just one thing has inspired me. A lot of things have been an inspiration. Just, documenting what I go through on a daily basis, or documenting what I see on a daily basis, how what I see makes me feel all the time. So all that has been a very, it has really inspired me to write, and I just decided I started writing poems, and then after writing quite a few poems, I decided that um, I met a lot of people. I met a few journalists. I met a few authors, and then I decided, let's do this. Let's write a book, and it took time. I had to balance my studies with writing, and thankfully, not thankfully, I mean, the lockdown was on, so I had time in my hands. So I started writing, and then when I decided that I had to write a book, then I began to, craft my path in that way, to, to write, to edit, and then to send it out to people so that I get a lot of opinions. And so that's how I started writing.
One thing I want to know in detail, and it's not for me, it's for everybody out there who actually, I'll tell you. So there are a lot of people, irrespective of their age, जिनके मुंह से ये सुनने को मिलता है कि मैं ये काम करना चाहता था या करना चाहती थी, पर मुझे ना टाइम नहीं मिलता. And it's a common phrase, time नहीं मिलता. And I always keep telling them कि time कभी किसी को मिलता नहीं है, time निकालना
निकालना
पड़ता है.
पड़ता है.
Exactly. So that's why I'm asking this question to you, because I think you're the right person who can answer this to me right now, and to them as well. So how did you balance your time? How did you manage to do both when you were actually running out of time?
It's always about prioritizing, and it's always about setting deadlines for yourself. कोई आएगा नहीं, आपके सर पे कोई डंडा नहीं मारेगा, आपको खुद वो डंडा मारना पड़ेगा. You have to set a deadline. You have to set a deadline for yourself and take out time. कभी मतलब कभी नींद कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो जाती है, बट आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि नींद कॉम्प्रोमाइज करो, ऐसा नहीं है. उसको काफी अच्छे से, मतलब अच्छे से सो के भी सारा काम हो सकता है. तो मतलब इट्स जस्ट दैट यू हैव टू प्रायोरिटाइज एंड यू हैव टू सेट डेडलाइंस फॉर योरसेल्फ. कोई भी फील्ड में है, कुछ भी करना चाहते हैं, वी मस्ट ऑलवेज डू दैट. और हमेशा देखना है कि हमें क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है, क्या ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दोबारा मिल सकती है. अगर नहीं मिल सकती तो अभी इस अपॉर्चुनिटी को लो एंड मेक दिस योर प्रायोरिटी.
Right.
सो मतलब इट्स ऑलवेज अबाउट प्रायोरिटाइज. एंड देयर मतलब काफी टेक्निक्स होती हैं. I don't remember the name. It's not on. I mean, I just can't. I don't remember it. But things that need your immediate attention, and then things that can wait, and things that are not important, but you can take time to do it. That you just make a list, write it down somewhere, and stick to it. Stick to it, because deadlines are important, especially with publishers and with writing. Deadlines are very important. So that has to be taken care of. Yeah.
There must have been times when you probably must have compromised on some family events and events that you wanted to attend but you couldn't because of those deadlines. If you don't mind me asking, कितना आप सोते थे उस टाइम पे जब आप दोनों चीजें साथ में कर रहे थे?
MBBS में एक्चुअली ये सब लोग जानते हैं कि नींद बहुत कॉम्प्रोमाइज होती है, चाहे हम और कुछ करें या ना करें. पर आई थिंक आई यूज्ड टू टेक 4 to 5 hours of sleep and manage my entire day around that. So it
Nice.
worked like that. And
So the reason I'm asking this question is because, as I said, there are a lot of people who wants to do a lot of things, but probably they are not willing to get out of their comfort zone and do that because they haven't done it from a long time. And मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जरूरी नहीं कि अगर बहुत लंबे समय तक आपने वो नहीं किया है तो आप अभी भी वो नहीं कर सकते हैं. And
That's true.
right now, I have an example in front of me, that is you. You have been doing it. You have been compromising on your personal events. You have been compromising on your sleep, but you did it. You still chose to do an MBBS, and you still chose to be an author at the same time. It is amazing. So, coming to my next question, tell us about your books. What do you write?
Okay, so I've published, I mean, I have written three books till now. So the first book is called Chestnut, Maple, and Poetry. It's a very raw, I've just written it from the heart. It was my debut book, so it does not have a lot of maturity. It's a lot about heartbreak and loss, and it's a little on those lines. But uh, after even before publishing my first book, I used to read extensively. I used to research and read for writing. So after almost 2 years, I wrote the book that is the closest to my heart. That is the Purple Book of Poems, which is basically it's more chirpy and it's more happy, and definitely I could see the growth in my writing. I could feel that I've matured as a writer, and that book has I've grown and matured. I just it just felt very satisfying to write that book. It was a very satisfying experience. And my third book, which is Mulberry Metaphors, is actually it was a co-author project with Half Baked Beans, and I wrote it with two other people, and it was mentored. So uh, I mean, it kept us on the right track all the time. We were always on track. We always had deadlines. We always had deadlines, but this was more into that. And we learned a lot while writing this book. If I can speak for my co-authors also, uh, we actually learned a lot while writing this book, because nobody had edit, because the first two books I had written and edited them myself, and in this book we had an editor, so we got to learn a lot. So yeah, these are the three books that I've written.
Okay, if I compare your first book that you said you, because since it was your debut book, it had a little bit of immaturity, you being as a writer. And if I compare your first book and your third book, what do you think? How how you have developed as a writer in comparison to your first book and your third book? Tell us about that, the development process, the maturity process.
I think the first thing about writing that I did not know back then, or maybe I did not have enough practice, is being passionate about what you write, being passionate about what your work, and you have to always write from the heart. That goes without saying. But what I experienced was I experimented after my first book with structures, with phrases, with themes, and मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि यार मैं इस पे तो लिख ही नहीं सकती. But then I tried and I experimented, and then I found that I can write. It's all about being passionate and feeling what you write. So one thing that has developed in me is definitely passion for my work. And the second thing is I found my style of writing. I found a method of writing. Um, I became more open to criticism. That is what I feel. I used to be very critical in the beginning, but now I am critical with a sense of maturity, with a sense of ki, okay, how can we experiment with this? How can we, make it better? And not just telling myself that no, this is not good enough, this is not good enough. Not just doing that. Finding a way to make it better, finding a way to, explore.
Right.
So that is how I've grown.
Okay. Okay, Akshita, coming to my next question. As a writer, we always have a journey. As you said, there were a lot of learnings in the process. So, in your first two books, you edited your books by yourself. You did not have that kind of knowledge or expertise as to how to edit a book, but you anyhow did it. But in the third book, you had an editor, so there was a lot to learn from that process as well. So I would like to talk about your writing journey, the challenges you faced, and what exactly you learned from your entire journey. Tell us about it in detail. And also, I would really appreciate if you could tell us one best moment from this entire journey that that you would like to take keep with you for your entire life.
Okay, so I'll begin from my first book because before that, it's not very significant, I feel. So, uh, after my first book, what I did was I started reading a lot of classics and a lot of Sylvia Plath and Emily Dickinson. They're my favorites. And I did a lot of reading. I uh, it was cathartic. It was just out of this world because uh, reading poetry from uh, poets who are known for this is just healing, and it's just it puts you in a very good frame of mind. So I started doing that, and I kept learning and kept growing. And the challenges that I faced were, I feel that uh, I would have done a lot better if I was a literature student, because then I would have the opportunity to read a lot, which right now I do not have uh, that kind of opportunity. But apart from that, then I joined Instagram communities. A lot of communities on Instagram, which there is something that I feel that is called the modern art of poetry. Like we have modern art in paintings and that kind of stuff. I feel there's a modern art in poetry that there has been a shift in writing, in styles of writing, and we now write to connect more with the audience. We
Right.
we definitely we keep our style. We don't compromise on our vision, on our styles, but we write to connect with the audience. So that is one big thing that I've learned. The next thing that I've learned is to keep experimenting, because that's the only way to grow. Keep practicing and experimenting. That's and growth for a writer is very important, क्योंकि कभी कभी क्या होता है कि आप अपनी खुद की पोएम पढ़ के after you've matured a little, आप अपनी पुरानी पोएम पढ़ के you feel that this could have been a lot better. This
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah this and you know how it could have been better. So that is uh, what I've learned, and I've definitely learned to be passionate. One thing that was very special to me is when I was writing my third book, and I had sent my poems to my editor, who was a wonderful editor, by the way. But and she told me that my poems are very intriguing and they have a very uh, you know they have a certain maturity, and at the same time they are raw. So that felt like an accomplishment, because she is also a very celebrated poet. And I feel I mean that just felt very, it really felt like an accomplishment. It felt very, very good to hear that from her, and that's what I would like to take from this entire journey. I mean, there are a lot of things to take, but this is one moment where I felt that yes, कुछ तो अच्छा है. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we start writing, we do it because we want to do it. It is in our heart, that wish, that desire to do something in life, through the power of pen. But वही चीज कन्वर्ट होती है एंड सामने से वी गेट कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स एंड appreciation. So always we actually feel like we belong somewhere.
Yeah.
So I can totally understand. Okay, yeah. Coming back to my question, which is that one moment that you would like to keep with you through your entire life, which is very very memorable for you. तो जो आपको लगा कि this is the best thing that has happened to me after I started writing.
Um, I think very recently, I wrote a poem that is that, and when I read it, I just felt like, I mean, that is my favorite poem till date. I mean, I would place it above other poets that I've read, and I have favorite poems of each poet. But that poem, I would place it above all those favorite poems as my favorite poem, because I could not believe that I could write like this. I just could not believe it. It's just a very beautiful poem, and I just compiled everything that I had learned, and it just came out so beautifully, and it didn't I didn't put in a lot of time or effort. It just flowed, and that's when I realized that yes, now I can just write. I don't have to put in a lot of effort. I can just write. So that is one thing definitely that I would like to do.
Wow, amazing. I think it's beautiful. Even I remember when I was writing my first book and I finished the draft, and there was this one chapter in my book that even now when I read it, I cry
Oh,
because I
that's
think
that's just
because I
amazing.
feel this is, yeah, that's it's a very natural feeling. I have read it many times, and सबसे ज़्यादा तो मैंने उसे इसलिए पढ़ा है क्योंकि मुझे लगा था कि after a certain period of time when I read my piece, I'll get bored and I will not cry. But even now, when I read that chapter of the book, I cry. And it's only
That's
because I feel it's written so beautifully and it came out so naturally. I cannot forget that moment in my life. So I can totally understand what you must be going through while you were writing that, or while you were reading that, or while you're telling us about that.
yeah.
Yes. So you're a young author, and you're from a generation of social media. And as far as we see, we do not see a lot of youngsters reading a book these days. There are youngsters who actually like to read, but not much as compared to earlier, you know. So, how do you think youngsters nowadays perceive literature and books, and do they like to read, or what do they like to do, and how actually did you manage to find the right readers for your book in this kind of scenario?
I'll just begin with saying that it was actually tough in the beginning to find people to read poetry, because not a lot of people read poetry. So it was tough initially, but then once you hit I feel that Instagram is such an amazing platform that you can find all kinds of people on Instagram. All so I found I found people. It took some time, but about reading books, I can only speak for myself when I say this, that I feel that regardless of what time it is, what century it is, what year it is, or what social media platform is doing well, I think books will always be relevant. Because to be a writer, you have to be a reader.
Right.
You have to read to be able to write. And I think even today, uh, books are relevant, or I would say classics especially are relevant. I think Jane Austen is still the favorite uh, author of a lot of people. I think it is relevant. Art in art is available in multiple forms these days, but books are just the fundamental thing. to, to begin your journey with, or whether it's your reading journey or your writing journey or whatever it is, your healing journey. Books are
Right.
just the most fundamental thing, and I think they will always be relevant. I remember there was the time when Facebook was a big thing, and when Instagram wasn't a big thing, and today Instagram has taken over,
Yeah.
and something else will take over in the future. But the only constant that is there is books. They will always be there, and you can always rely on them. You can always rely on them, and you can rely on them for anything. So that's what I feel.
I think that's a beautiful statement that you have made right now, that, no matter how the social media changes in the future, but books will always be there, constant and ready to, deliver that beautiful knowledge and beautiful stories out there for you. So I think that perfectly makes sense in that sense. So you are a writer, and I'm sure you there is a lot of there is a lot to do. If I talk about you, you have a long way to go, and this is just a beautiful beginning of your career. So I just want to know, how do you see yourself in the coming 5 years, and what would you like to tell your future self?
Uh, in the next 5 years, I definitely see myself as the doctor that is
Mm-hmm.
there. But I also see myself just being passionate about writing. I think this passion that has developed will always be there. And and I hope that in the next 5 years also I'm able to write, and I'm able to cater to the audience, and reach as many people as I've reached today. That would, I mean, that would be my absolute pleasure. And about telling my future self, I would just say career is important. Career is important. You have a career. I mean, you will have a career as the doctor. So you will have to focus on that. But just feel. Allow yourself to feel. The more you feel, the richer your life will be. That is what I believe. And feel and find little stories around you. Find something to, connect yourself with, and just find that balance and keep writing. Keep writing, because that has been such a cathartic experience, writing, that I would always tell myself to write. So yeah.
You know, Akshita, let me tell you one thing about you. So I have been chatting with you from last 30 minutes, and I have interacted with so many guests. There was a season one last year, in 2021, 2 years back, and now there is a season two of Chat with K. And even apart from this Instagram chat show that I do, I talk to a lot of people. But let me tell you, there is a depth in what you say, and when you say it, and we can see that you feel it, and I think it's a beautiful quality, and this is the quality that makes you a beautiful writer. And I wish you all the best for your writing journey, and I really hope in the coming 5 years we see a lot of your books hitting the best-selling numbers, fiction, non-fiction. Even I would love to see some you writing something on medical, probably a great non-fiction that we can read.
I hope so too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're an author, and there are still a lot of people who aspire to be one. So I remember when I wanted to be an author, I also had to find my own way to do that. So what do you want to say to all the aspiring writers, or probably people who want to read books but do not, probably because of procrastination or various reasons? What do you want to say to all of them?
First thing is, if you want to write, write. If you want to read, read. Just begin. A beginning is important, because you have to start somewhere, right? You will not become an accomplished author if you do not sit and write today, if you do not decide that you have to write today. So, to people who want to write, I would say that keep experimenting, keep developing that sort of passion, and find yourself somewhere. Because when you find yourself somewhere, you will find stability. And when you find that stability, it won't be difficult for you to balance different things. So just find yourself in what you do, in anything that you do, whether you read or you write or you paint or whatever. Just do it. And procrastination is bimari hai that
Right.
I don't think anybody has been untouched by it. But if you want to do it, you have to start now. And just keep writing, you will find a lot of things on the way. You will find a lot of opportunities on the way. And when you do take things seriously, a lot of opportunities will come to you themselves. And that will, feel like an accomplishment, and that will be a beautiful thing. So, and, and also just be fearless, I would say. Speak your mind, write what you want to write, or read whatever you want to read. Be fearless. And if you are trying to be an author, then find something that connects with you as well as the audience. But do not compromise on what you want to say. Your voice is very important, and it has a place, it has a value, and it counts. It definitely counts. So do not compromise on that, but say, and just be, just be, and make most of this life that you've got. That's what I'd say.
Thank you so much, Akshita. It was really nice talking to you, and I think it was a wonderful session for our audience as well who were watching and you were listening to us patiently. So I would like to thank all of them as well for being patient with us. And you're a beautiful writer, and you're a beautiful orator, and I'm sure you will be a beautiful doctor as well in the future.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. I wish a lot of success for you, and I see that in you, and that is why I'm saying it. And I would like to have you again on my show sometime again, and we'll chat more about some other topic.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So thank you so much
Thanks
for
so much, Kritika.
coming here and joining me, and motivating my audience. And thank you so much. If you would like to say something before leaving.
I would just thank you because you gave me the opportunity. You saw something in me, and you gave me the opportunity. So thank you, and I would just thank everybody watching. It just feels great. This is my first time somebody is asking me, questions about my writing journey and things like that. So
Arey
it
wow.
feels great. It
Yeah,
feels
it is.
great.
And I'm sure this is the first opportunity. You'll create many more for you.
Thank you. I hope so too.
Yeah, you will do that. I'm sure you have that in you, and I can see it. I can feel it.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Akshita. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye bye. So you can cancel out your part of the screen, and I'll end this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was Akshita Sharma with us, and she's a young author, and she's a beautiful one indeed. And I'm sure she'll do wonders in the future with literature and books. And I would really tell all of you to go and read her books. I'm sure those are amazing. So thank you so much for watching this session of Chat with Kay. This was a short one, but it was a beautiful one. And I hope you like it. अगर आपको ये पसंद आए तो आप इसको like ज़रूर करना. And I will see you in my another session. Till then, bye.